Number one, why are singles not married? I'm talking about singles of eligible, marriageable age. Why are they not married? Beautiful, educated, handsome, exposed, experienced. Why are they not married? I'm going to be talking about that today. Number two, why is it that those who get engaged don't stay engaged? Why do they always end up with broken relationships? Going to be talking about that today. Okay, so for the few percentage, the little among the many who eventually make it to marriage and then end up, to wedding and then get to have a happy marriage, what is it that they know that others don't know? What did they do that others don't do? Well, I've been able to, out of years of research, I've been able to come up with about 12 major things that singles who end up at wedding and have happy marriages, I've been able to find 12 major things that they do before wedding that enables them to ultimately have a successful wedding and a happy marriage. In actual fact, it has been discovered that singles who give attention to the things that I'm about to share with you now, they always have high potential rate of success in their marriages, as against those who are ignorant of it, who always end up with divorce within the first 3 years of their marriage or marriages. So it's important that you give attention to this, whether you are single, you're married, you are a parent, you want to know these things so that when the time comes, you'll be able to guide your kids.
Welcome to Kingdom Insights with Rev Sam Oye, where we explore faith, relationships, and productivity through God's Word. Open your heart, your miracle awaits as we dive into God's Word.
Listen to me. I'm so concerned about most of you who are singles and are in the church, all right? And the only thing you do is you pray. Now, listen, that's true. It's important that you pray. I teach prayer. I lead prayer. Okay, but there's something I want you to know. Please write this down. Marriage is not all about 100% spirituality. So marriage is a blend of several things. Successful marriages usually are a blend of several things. Spirituality, very, very, very important. There is a place for spirituality in marriage. There is a place for physicality in marriage. Whatever you say God told you to marry, whoever you say God told you to marry, you want to make sure that physically you are connected to the person. So there is a place of physicality, all right? Then there is a place for mentality. You want to make sure that you can connect when you talk. So it's not that I'm trying to communicate and I can't connect with you, all right? Intelligence, it does have to do with education. You can have somebody who has degrees like thermometer, highly educated, but displays low level of intelligence. And yet, you may have someone who has low education but has high intelligence quotient. So it's important for you to understand that intelligence quotient is not synonymous with aptitude quotient, which is a function of education. All right, so it's critical for you to understand that having a successful marriage is a blend of several things. So because sometimes I see lots of Christians, and the only thing we do is we just pray, and we rely on that, and then we get married, and then we get disappointed. Even the Bible tells you that you should test every spirit to see whether they be of God. Test every spirit. Check every spirit. The servant of Abraham, when it was time for him to get a wife for Isaac, the Bible made us understand that he stood by the well and say, I stand by the well, and he prayed. And then he said something. He said, Lord, let the lady that come to this well, let the one that gives me water to drink, let her turn out to be the one you have appointed. So what he was simply saying was that, yes, God, women will come here, I pray, and the women will come, all right? But he said, the one I'm going to choose is going to be the one that I'm able to ask to give me water, and she's able to give me water and give to my men also. Meaning there was going to be something more than spiritual. I want to check attitude. So it's not all just about spirituality. There is a place for character. You need to check all these things. So I've been able to put together what I call the checklist. So if you want to get married as a single, or you are a parent and you're going to be watching your kids get married in the future, take note of the things that I'm sharing. There may not be an exhaustive list, but at least it will give you some guide. You can add that to whatever list you already have. All right? So that you'll be able to make a well-informed decision. What is the first thing we would like to talk about right now? Let's get straight into what I call purpose connection check. Purpose connection check. It's going to be the crucial one we're going to be starting with. Successful singles who go from being single to becoming married always begin with purpose check. Let's not go into any long drama. Before we start talking about how your eyes are like that of a dove, and your lips drops like honey, and your cheeks are like that of a roe, and your eyelids and your eyeballs are just like precious stars from a distant galaxy. Before you start talking about how that, every time I see you, there seems to be some oscillation in my emotions that causes me to vibrate on a different frequency. Not calm down. Listen, purpose check. Purpose check. Listen, can two walk together except they first be agreed? Are we heading in the same direction? Do you share what I share? Is my passion an obsession for you? Are you excited about my interest? This is a picture of my future. Does it look like a future you want to be a part of? This is the nature of my assignment and the scope of my calling. Is this something you want to be a part of? I want to be a politician in the future. Would you want to be the wife of a politician? Are you going to be comfortable with women from my senatorial districts? Are you going to be comfortable with women taking pictures with me? Will you be comfortable with me hanging out with women? Won't you be jealous? Won't you be envious? Are you going to be comfortable sharing me with other women? Not sexually, not romantically, but would you be comfortable to watch me interact with other women and you don't stress the hell out of my life at home? It's about purpose connection. Andre Agassi married Brooke Shields. And for some reasons, they just got to realize that the two of them are heading in a different direction. Andre Agassi is a tennis player. Brooke Shields is a Hollywood person. And so Brooke Shields couldn't come to terms with how he functions. His world is not her world. His interest is not our interest. His obsession is not our obsession. Was not her own obsession. And unfortunately, her world is not his own interest. So these are two individuals who are divergent when it comes to purpose connection. The end of it was the fact that the two of them ended up in a divorce. Andre Agassi had to go his way. Brooke Shields had to go her own way. In the end of the day, Andre Agassi ended up marrying someone from the tennis world. I think that should be Martina or so. He married her. And guess what? When he was married to Brooke Shields, his career began to go down because there was internal tension. There was no purpose connection. But when he married someone from the same space with him, and I'm not saying you have to be a doctor, marry a doctor. The issue is about purpose connection. You can be a doctor, marry a doctor, and you don't share the same purpose. But when he married a woman who was obsessed with what he was interested in, the career of this man suddenly began to go up. It's therefore important that you begin to think about this very all-important subject called purpose. Never begin anything without a clearly defined purpose. Never begin a relationship if purpose is not well defined. So number one thing to check is what I call purpose. I just hope the man you're about to marry will not become the burial field for your life's purpose, passion, and interest. Here's what I want to say. If marriage becomes the burial place for your purpose, passion, and interest, happiness will elude you and your marriage cannot be happy. A happy woman is the one who finds expression, blossoms in the field of her husband. Like a rose petal, you suddenly spread out in the field of your husband. Your career finds expression. Your purpose finds expression. Now listen, your husband is not created in order to make your purpose happen. You are supposed to be a helpmeet to him. But here's the game. In the field of the man that you are called to marry, there will be a space for you to flourish. You cannot be a help to him if you're a sad helper. You cannot be a help to him if you are an unfulfilled helper. So although you're called to be a help to him, meet for him, the reality also is that you will blossom in his own field. You will flourish in his own field. Your gifts will not be buried in his field. Your assignment will not be buried in his own field. Hello, sir. You really want to have a happy wife? Hey, let your field be a blossoming place for her. Let her just be who she's destined to be, who she wants to be. Let her find expression in your field. If she can be happy, happiness will be your portion. Happy is a man who has a happy wife. Ooh, you can type that out. I dash you that, okay? Happy is the man who has a happy wife. And the only reason why your wife is going to be happy is because she's fulfilled in your space. That she finds expression. That she's able to pursue her dreams. And by the pursuit of her dreams, she's able to also make your dreams come true. Number two, what do you check before you say, I do? Family background. Check family background. There was a reason why in Genesis, the Bible says Abraham called his servant and said to his servant, I'd like you to go back to my own people. See, it's about family background. When the servant of Abraham saw that lady, she was quite impressionable. She gave them water, took care of their camel. She was indeed, Rebecca was an impressionable lady. Not only was she beautiful, she had character. But here's the point. Did you notice that the servant of Abraham asked a question? Whose daughter are you? I need to get to know your family. It's important. Because we all understand that if it's in the root, it will be in the fruit. It will be in the branch. So it's always important that after you have done purpose check, the next important thing to check, family background. Never ignore where someone you want to marry is coming out from. Where the person is coming out from. Moses will tell you, never ignore where someone comes out from. Moses brought them out of Egypt, but couldn't bring Egypt out of them. They frustrated Moses' leadership in the wilderness. Moses, who never, so to say, when he met with the Lord, never had a history of anger after meeting with the Lord. Moses became angry because of the people he was leading. Why? Where they came from. Never ignore where someone you want to marry is coming from. Residues always travels with people across the path when they travel through the journey of life. Residues from the past always moves with people into the future. I'm going to say that again. Residues from the past always move with people into the future. Tomorrow, I'm going to be breaking down this part properly as we continue the subject on baggage. Don't forget that. What a great time we had last week. All right? So, but don't forget what I just said right now. People always travel with residues from their residencies into their future. Okay? Remember there was a woman that Jacob married? When Jacob was traveling with her Her father woke up and noticed that, hey, it's like I've lost something in my house. My gods, one of my gods have been taken. And then he ran after Jacob and his wives, who happened to be the daughter of Laban. Of Laban, yes. When eventually met with them, it turned out that even though she hid it, we got to later discover that residues always travel to people in the journey of life from their residences. So sometimes it's important that we unpack. I'll be teaching you that tomorrow. Family background. Get to find out what kind of parenting style was used to raise the person you're about to marry. Was it authoritarian parenting style where there are rules, regulations, and no relationships? Because if there was no relationship, you're going to suffer that challenge in your marriage, except where the person has already gotten a change in orientation, change in disposition, change in decision, change in association, and sometimes even the need to make physical relocation changes. So do not forget what I'm sharing with you here today. Check family background. Is a person from a polygamous family? Is a person from a polyandrous family? What kind of family is a person from? How connected are the siblings? Is it a family where the siblings are connected or there's so much rancor? Is it a house where there's so much suspicion amongst each other? Is it a family where everybody is afraid of each other? Please never ignore where someone comes from. A bottle of Coca-Cola from a crate of Coca-Cola is going to taste like Coca-Cola until you empty the bottle of Coke. That you took the bottle out of the crate doesn't change the content in the bottle. It is so also with marriage, that you pulled somebody out of a family doesn't mean you've pulled the family out of the person. Oh. Woo! Did you get that now? That you pulled somebody out of a family doesn't mean that you pulled the family out of the person. That you married one person doesn't mean you've divorced every person he has related with. That you both said I do doesn't mean that the person has gotten rid of the philosophies, the ideologies, the traditions, the culture, the mindsets, the paradigms that the person had embraced before that. Family background matters. Before you settle with anybody, make sure you get, I'm not saying don't marry the person because of the person's family background. That's not what I've said. I'm only saying it is only wise on your part to know what you are getting into. It is only smart on your part to know the kind of family you're getting married to. Very important. Number 3, what you need to check is what we call integrity. It's called integrity check. This is very crucial. Integrity check. Before you ever settle down with anybody, be very sure that you test to be sure that this person's words are his bounds. That this woman says and she keeps to her promise. Check out for leakages of integrity. Check out for lies. Check out for deception. Check out for manipulation. Check out for insincerity. Now, any of this you ignore before marriage, you saw them, you noticed them. Insincerity, lack of honesty, inability to depend on the person, no trust. You saw all this. And you still went ahead and got married to the person. You have nobody to blame but yourself. You saw the red flags, you still moved on. What, should you divorce the person? Should you break up with the person? I'm not saying you should break up. I'm only saying bring it up. Say, hey, I notice that you don't always keep your promises. I notice that you don't tell the truth. Is there something you want to tell me about that? Oh, well, What you have is what you get. If really that's the case, well, for you as a lady, if you're comfortable with that kind of environment, someone who lies to you, that's okay. It's your choice. You can marry the person. And don't be surprised if after lying to you, you get to discover some other things. Don't be surprised. You had enough warning signals. Integrity check. Do not ignore signs and symptoms of dishonesty, insincerity, lack of trust, manipulation, deception. Do not ignore what you hear people say about the person, that this person doesn't keep the truth. He doesn't tell the truth. Do not ignore that. Integrity check. Let's quickly move to the number 4. This is going to be interesting now. Temperament check. Temperament. All right? The temperament of the person. Now listen, we're talking about whether the person is strong-willed, as a choleric person, whether the person is a jolly, happy, loving, carefree person, as a sanguine, or whether the person is more of a stable emotion person, someone with stable emotions and who is very thoughtful, like a phlegmatic person, or whether the person is such a person who has unstable emotions, who has mood swings, like a melancholic person. It's important you know what the predominant temperament of the person you want to marry is. I'm going to say that. It's critical that you know what the predominant temperament of the person you want to marry is. If the person is a strong-willed, choleric person, someone who acts before he thinks, or acts before the person she thinks, that's a choleric. I'm action-driven. I can slap you before I remember that I've done that. So yes, I can break some things, I can destroy things, and I can take bold moves, and before I start thinking about the steps that I'm taking. If that's the kind of person you're getting married to, be aware that this person is going to take a lot of steps before I get to know. And it doesn't mean that the person doesn't love you. It's just the way they are. They are more action-oriented. So the person will take bold steps before the person thinks. Or you may be hanging out with someone who talks before thinking. And that happens to be a sanguine person. They talk before they think. Their mouth moves faster than their minds. They say what they don't mean. So it is feeling over thinking. Don't take their words too seriously. Because they can tell you today, she can wake up, a sanguine woman can wake up today and tell you, I hate you, I don't like you, I'm not marrying you again, I'm done with this marriage, I'm going to my father's house. Yes, tonight I'm flying back home to my father. And she doesn't mean it. She doesn't mean it at all. All right? So it's important that you know who you're getting connected to, who you're getting married to. Now, if you want to marry someone who is a thoughtful person, who thinks before he acts, or thinks before she acts, the person will analyze, process, think through before the person ever acts. Sometimes, by the time the person is ready to act, things have happened. The person wants to take time to be very sure that, I should invest into that business. The person wants to be very sure that it's a good opportunity. And by the time the person has processed it, the phlegmatics, when they have processed everything and is ready now to act, the opportunity is gone. So, if you are getting married to such a person, you should know that part of your assignment is to increase the action potential of the person. Either you get the person to act more, or you will begin to act on behalf of the person. Otherwise, your family will not make the kind of progress that you ought to make. It will be a family where there's so much planning and less execution. Now, if you're getting married to an erratic temperament person, someone with erratic temperament, like the melancholic person who today is happy in the morning and later in the evening is sad. You never know when the person is happy and when the person next is going to be sad. The person's temperament just oscillates. The person is smiling now, you smile into bed, and then you wake up, the person is frowning, and you're like, what have I done wrong? Very, very erratic temperament, erratic emotions. All right? So here's where the game lies. You need to, these are people that like to think, and they also don't act much. But they are very wonderful people. They are the ones that brings us the poetries, and they are the ones that brings us good artwork. They have a sense of appreciation for beauty. They have their strength. Study the temperament of whosoever you want to marry. All right? Now again, I'm not saying break up, because no temperament is perfect. I'm not saying break up. I'm saying understand it. And say to yourself, am I cool with this? Is this something I have patience for? Is this something I can handle? Lest you become surprised in marriage and find out that you are not wired to handle this situation or this kind of temperament. All right. Number 5. This is very critical. Number 5 is what I call responsibility check. Responsibility check. Before you ever think of settling with anybody, female, male, man, woman, make sure that you are able to come to a point where you know that the person is responsible. The lady is responsible. She is not indebted. People are not pursuing her all over the place to pay them their money. She's not the type that is constantly broke. She's not the type that is buying today, pay tomorrow. She is responsible. She is meeting up with her obligations. Her rents are being paid as at when due. You're not hearing a case that she's in court with her landlord. She has not paid her school fees. They are pursuing her here and there. She took clothes for some people and she has not paid back. The wig she's been using now for 6 months. She has not finished paying for. No. You want to make sure that the woman you want to marry is responsible. She carries herself with dignity. She carries herself with poise. She carries herself with elegance. She carries herself with respect. She carries herself with self-respect. She's not an every man's woman. She doesn't have her body parts scattered around the world. She's not a donation to every man around the nations of the earth. You don't have a situation whereby a man in Nigeria has a hand, and a man in Canada has a head, and a man somewhere in Brazil has a chest, and someone else in somewhere else has different parts. She's scattered all over the world. In midnight, she's in Brazil. In the morning, she's in Nigeria. In the afternoon, she's somewhere else in different chat rooms. You don't want to do that. She's responsible. And there are so many beautiful and responsible women around. You just need to open your eyes. You will see them. Highly responsible women. I've met quite a number of them, and I'm surrounded by quite a number of them. Highly responsible women. They take care of their bills. For them, they are not looking for marriage as a means of rapture. They are not waiting for a man to come and marry them and rapture them from poverty. No. These are girls who are taking care of themselves. They have good jobs, good source of income. They are taking care of themselves within the limits of their income. Blessed is a man that finds any of such as a wife. Responsible. Proverbs chapter 13 gives us a picture of that kind of a responsible woman. She does not wait on her husband for anything. These are not ladies who wait on men for anything. They buy their own Gucci. They buy their own Valentino. They buy their own foundation, Mary Kay. They spend their own money on themselves. On Valentine's Day, if they have no man to take them out who is committed to them, they take themselves out. They buy cake, put right in their own front. They do themselves on that very day. Responsible. They are pushing themselves to do masters and PhDs whilst waiting. So they are not wasting while waiting for a husband. No. They are on the move. The husband will meet them on the way. They've not shut down their faculties and keep their brain on the altar waiting for a man to come. Then they decide what to do with their lives. No. These are responsible women. They are moving on whilst waiting for the man to catch up with them. Constantly doing courses, certification programs, upgrading and upscaling themselves, making themselves constantly relevant and significant. Responsible ladies. Mary Jane said, this one sweet me. God bless you, sweetheart. No. You're not waiting for a man to rapture you out of poverty. No. You're not waiting for a man to become your meal ticket. No. You're not waiting for a man to get you out of debt. No, you pay your own debt before a man comes. Responsible women. Let's flip the coin around. Hey, ladies, never marry a grossly irresponsible man. Now, listen to me. And unfortunately, some of you ladies, you are part of the reasons why you suffer pain later, because you are the one sending him recharge card. I mean, imagine that a guy wants to call you and he just quickly calls you. Hi, Natasha. How are you doing? Quickly send me recharge. And you also send him recharge. I mean, imagine a man that should be hunting after you, pursuing you. You send him recharge to call you. Okay, all right. So, and then you buy him clothes to come visit you. All right, and then you send him your car to come drive and see you. Okay, and then you take him to a restaurant, and then you pay for the meal for him to talk to you. All right, and then finally you get to marriage where you give him money so that he can pay for your dowry. You understand? And then you pay for the house. You give him the money to pay for the house that you're both moving into. You buy the furniture. And so you wonder why later in marriage he doesn't want to do anything. You have overmothered him. I thought you were supposed to be a wife. How did you become a mother? And now you're crying. He doesn't do anything. Why do you want him to do anything? You are there. You're a super mom. And you're going to be a super mom until death, all right? You take care of him and you take care of his kids too. And take care of his extended family, because they will expect him to bring money and you've got to cover up for him. So you have to give him money again to send to his family. Somebody said, Jesus. Yeah. You dress him up. You buy him a car. You're not married. You buy him a car. You're going on. You want to have meeting in Dubai. You buy the tickets. You pay for the hotel. You pay for the meals. You've never sat down to ask him, what do you do for a living? Anytime he comes around, anytime he gets on the phone and uses his baritone voice, how you doing? You lose control. You lose control. It's so sad to note that the worst part of it is that you will then give him the money that he will use to marry you. What? I'm telling you what is going on right now. And I'm not talking about 1, 2, 3. I've met several. And all of them end up regretting it. Marry the man into your house. Hello, sweetheart. Let me say something to you. If you're a lady watching me and you're already having your own house, you have a house you bought, you paid for, and you live in your house. When you are getting married, hello, sweetheart, you are going to live. If you don't have family members to give the house, rent the house out. Let it become a means of income. You're going to follow this guy to a house he rents. Start small with him. Let him become responsible. I know you're used to a big life, but that's what marriage does. Now you're going to move to where he lives. Don't disempower him by telling him to come stay in your house. Trouble will come someday. One day you're going to be frustrated by his lazy attitude, and you're going to mistakenly, you're going to say, leave my house. That's when trouble will start in the marriage. Somebody say, Daddy, you are breaking tables. Well, we don't need to break these tables. We need to crush it. You are watching me as a lady. Listen, I know you're 45. I know you're 43. And it sounds like you are. Why should you be desperate? So desperate that you're willing to do everything for the man except let him trek into your house. You go to work, he's sleeping at home. You provided Netflix for him. And you're even telling him when you are leaving home in the morning, you are leaving home at 5 a.m. He's still snoring. And then at 9 o'clock, you call him. And you're like, sweetheart, how are you doing? Fine. Because I left home in the morning, I left very early. I want to let you know that your breakfast is in the fridge. And in case you need any other thing, I left some money in the drawer so that if you want to get anything. And I've also sent the driver to go and fill up the car. The gas has been filled. Everything, in case you want to move around town. What? What are you doing? How serious are you? Is this what you call marriage? How long can you do this for? Ask all those who have done that. Ask them what the repercussion has been. I had a situation in our city here, in my own very city. We had a very, very terrible situation whereby a lady got married to a guy who pretended to be a working class person. Long and short, as soon as she got married to him, she realized this guy didn't even have the degree he said he has. A lady just sent me a mail and she said, hey, Pastor, she said, I am really heartbroken. And I said, what's the problem? And she said, sir, the guy that I got married to, thinking he was a graduate, I just got to realize that he did not even finish his secondary school. But he made me to believe. I said, well, that's a problem. If we don't run the checks, we're likely going to find ourselves in this situation. The next thing I want to quickly remind you of is what I call honor check. You have to check when it comes to honor. Never marry anybody who dishonors those that you honor. Please write this out. It's called honor. And I'm going to be closing with this. With two more. Hear me and hear me well. Never settle for anybody who dishonors the people that you honor. Never settle with anybody who dishonors the people that you honor. You want to marry somebody, and the person, you were raised by a pastor mentored you from your early days. Your parents invested into you. Your sister has been very close to you. You love your sister, your brothers. There are people that have been part of your life. And then all of a sudden, someone comes into your life and disrespects these people, dishonors them. Never settle for anybody who dishonors those that you honor. You know what? Anybody who dishonors those that you honor will soon isolate you from those that you honor. And normally, people that dishonor those that you honor and eventually isolate you from those that you honor are usually going to be abusers. They need to isolate you in order to abuse you. Never, never be around someone who talks down on people you hold so dear. Your pastor lifted you up. Your pastor taught you the word. And someone now comes into your life and the next is, oh, forget about your pastor. What about me? I'm sorry, I don't care about all these men of God. Really? You won't have me if not for that man you dishonor. You won't have me if not for my mother. You won't have me if not for my friend who's always been there for me, calming me down. You hate everybody around me. You don't like everybody around me. Everybody around me, there's something wrong with them. No, the truth is there must be something wrong with you. I'm saying this because I've seen it happen over and over again. And they are usually the early signs of an abusive relationship, a toxic one. So honor check. When you are with someone you want to marry, make sure you listen to how the person, female or male, how the person responds to your speech or to your talk about people you honor. Does the person seek to meet them and appreciate them? That is supposed to be the right attitude. If you talk about someone that you honor, anybody that is responsible, that wants to marry you, will say, can I get to meet them and appreciate them for all that they have done for you? And the person takes a gift to them to say, thank you so very much. My wife to be, my husband to be, has told me so much about the investment you've made in his or her own life. That is honor. It is operating by what you call the honor code. No, listen, the person you want to marry did not spring up from the earth just like that. The person came from a family. There are people that have invested into the person's life. You don't just come and pluck the person away like the person was a ready-made bread dropped from heaven. Even if the person is a ready-made bread dropped from heaven, don't you know it's important to honor the God who made the bread that dropped from heaven? It's critical that you never hang around anybody who dishonors those that you honor. You know why? Anyone who dishonors those that you honor, it's a matter of time the person will dishonor you. Okay, now take note of this. Number 7 is what I call a health check. Very important. Never settle into marriage with anybody without checking the basics about their health. Please, run some basic health check. Get to have some medical confirmation about things that matters to you. Your genotypes, get to be sure the person is not HIV positive. I'm not saying if the person is HIV positive, you shouldn't marry the person, but be aware that I know you are HIV positive, but because I love you, I'm still going to marry you. I know you have hepatitis B, but I'm still going to marry you. I know we have the same genotype, but I'm still going to marry you, and I know the consequences involved. Let it be that your choice, but you were aware. Let it be that you are aware that the person cannot conceive. That look, I don't have uterus. I have fallopian tubes that have been damaged. I don't have sperm counts. I have no sperm count. So there's no conception. Make sure we are aware. And then we agree that look, we love each other enough to go ahead. We don't need children in our lives. And if we're going to have children, let's adopt. Love check. That's the last one. That's second to the last. Love check, which is what most of us always want to check. Be sure that 3 things are present. The person shows you care, the person shows you affection, and the person is always excited about being close to you. Intimacy. Care, affection, intimacy. Make sure that you are clear, you are sure, not by assumption, that the person loves you. The person is not into what you have. The person is into who you are. Make sure the person is excited about who you are and not what you have. Can I say that again? Make sure the person is excited about who you are and not what you have. Love check. Finally, divine confirmation check. If you have all the things that I've said to be correct, you check all of them. And God is not saying go ahead. Hello. No matter how right all the checks are, drop that marriage and just simply stay where God wants you to stay. It's critical. Make sure that the final matching order into any relationship is God. I'm not saying even your pastor, even your parents, God. Make sure that you have God's nodding, God's approval before you go ahead. You know why? When the crisis and the challenges of life comes, like they will always come, when you go through the fire, when you go through the water, not if you go through the waters. You will have moments where you go through the waters. As a couple, you will go through the fire. When that moment comes, you can confidently go back to God and say, God, you were the one that told me to go into this. I trust you to help me out of it. So it's critical that you get your marching orders from God. Learn to hear the voice of God. I'll be teaching you another time on this platform on how to hear the voice of God. A lot of us are confused. We don't even know when God is speaking to us and when God is not speaking to us. I'll be teaching you that on this platform, how to hear the voice of God. I'm out of time, but I'm not out of words. I'm sure I've been able to give you 9 basic checks. I've just done overview. When I bring up my book, the Singles Checklist 12.0, you're going to have all of them properly explained, and you're going to have activities to carry out in the book.
If you've watched this video to this point, thank you for staying with us. We hope this message has inspired and uplifted you. If it did, go ahead and like, comment, and share. Don't forget to subscribe to Kingdom Insights with Rev Sam Oye for more powerful teachings. See you in the next video.